Hey, what's up guys, AirsoftMan819 here again with another video. I haven't made any videos in a while. Once again, no particular reason, I just haven't been in the mood lately, but I've been picking up a lot of new stuff, so I figured I'd make a recent games pickup. I've recently started collecting for the Nintendo Entertainment System, so mostly I've just been buying NES games, and I'm just going to share each game with you guys that I've bought, and tell you guys a little bit about each game, because most of the games in this video are going to be a little bit more obscure. They're not really as well known as a lot of other NES titles, so I'm going to explain each one the best I can. So all of these games were picked up at a local store, Game Swap, in the Eastgate Mall in Ohio. So if you're ever in the Eastgate or Batavia area, or Milford, Ohio, around that area, I'd recommend stopping by Game Swap in the Eastgate Mall. They have a lot of NES games, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. They have a bunch of different old school games. So let's start off my video here. So first game on the stack is Wrestlemania Steel Cage Challenge. This is a interesting game. A lot of the wrestling games at the time for game consoles were mostly just arcade style fighters with WWE wrestlers, but this really is a legitimate wrestling game. You actually can do body slams, and you can bounce off the ropes, stuff like that. It features quite a few characters for the time. It includes Macho Man, Bret Hart, Undertaker, the Mountie, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, I think. I don't know, it features about 7 or 8 different wrestlers, which for the time was a lot. A lot of the games prior to this only had like 4, so considering that, this is actually an okay game. The graphics are a bit dated, and as you guys know, when it has this LJN rainbow on the cartridge, that's the shit stamp, according to the Angry Video Game Nerd. But this game is decent. I mean, is it worth buying? Probably not, but it's a decent game if you do find it. Personally, I just found this for like $2, so I got it. Okay, next game on the stack. This is Thundercade. From what I've read, this is an arcade port. Apparently there was an arcade game called Thundercade. This is a really fun shooter. You basically drive around this city on a motorcycle and you shoot stuff. You shoot tanks, you shoot people, and to back you up, you have a bomber overhead. So you hit A to shoot, and when you hit B, the bomber will drop a bunch of bombs and clear the screen for you. So it's a really fun shooter. It's actually pretty difficult, but a seasoned NES player should be able to blow through it pretty quick. But it is a fun game, and I will try to include gameplay footage of all these games in this video, and if I can't do it, there should be a link down below where you can watch gameplay footage for all of these games. So this game I also picked up for $2. Okay, we have another game. This one's in a sleeve. This is Operation Wolf, another arcade port for the NES. It is a light gun game, and basically you're just blowing through all these enemy bases, shooting bad guys, shooting helicopters, and shooting pretty much everything on the screen. Classic Game Room actually has a review of this game if you want to see a in-depth gameplay footage review of this. The game is a little bit choppy. It's kind of difficult to shoot the enemies, and the graphics aren't that great. It's kind of difficult to play. From what I hear, the arcade version of this game was better, but this port is okay. It's playable, but it's not very fun. But it is a light gun game. If you're short on light gun games, I would recommend picking this up. Go ahead and slip that back in its sleeve there. Okay. This is one of my favorites here. This is Zanac. It is a spaceship shooter for the NES. I'm not sure if it was if it's an arcade port or if it's on any other consoles, but it is a really fun shooter. It's developed by FCI, and it is really fun. It actually is pretty difficult towards the end, but the graphics are really good, and it's a really smooth playing spaceship shooter. One of the best shooters on the NES that I've played so far, and it's definitely worth the $2 I paid for it. This game fetches anywhere from $10 to $15 online, so considering I got this for $2 and the cartridge itself is in good shape, I think I got a pretty good deal. So that is Zanac, which, like I said, I'll try to include gameplay footage. If the gameplay footage is not in the actual video, I'll try to include links at the bottom. Here's probably the most interesting of the group. I don't even like touching this game because it's so shiny. This is MiG-29 Soviet Fighter. This is an unlicensed game made by Camerica, the same people that made the Game Genie, and it's a hack, basically. It's a hack for the NES, at least, because it's unlicensed. For one, it's got this crazy-looking gold cartridge, obviously not licensed by Nintendo, and there's a switch inside the game right here. It says Position A, over which is to the right. Position B, only use this position when the game does not work with Position A. From what I read, this switch was included so you can play the game on PAL NES consoles made in Taiwan. So this game is a 3D perspective flight simulator, similar to Top Gun and Afterburner. If you've played Top Gun or Afterburner, then you'll be able to play this. And this is a pretty fun game. It's fairly difficult, but there's only like, I think, 4 missions, if I'm not mistaken. And halfway inside of each mission, you have to refuel and stuff like that. So it's a pretty challenging game. It's pretty action-packed. You're constantly dodging enemy fire and stuff like that. So it's a very entertaining game. And I got this for $6, which it's only worth that. It's not worth a whole lot because it's just a cheap, unlicensed game. But the game is actually worth buying, so I definitely recommend it. Okay, let me get sleeve back on this one. Okay, and the last game in the list. Barker Bill's Trick Shooting. This is another light gun game. It says so right on the cartridge right here. This was developed by Nintendo. Apparently it was modeled after some cartoon from the 50s, Barker Bill's. But it is basically just a pretty generic light gun game. You get to shoot balloons, and these two characters throw plates up in the air and you have to shoot them, stuff like that. It's a pretty generic light gun game, but overall it's okay. I recommend it for kids or something. It's not really entertaining to play now because it's pretty easy. But it is a fun little light gun game, and I would definitely recommend picking it up. Like I said, I got this for $2, so you know, for $2 you can't beat it. So this has been my recent games pickup video. So yeah, I'll definitely be making more update videos on my NES collection because I just started collecting, so my collection is pretty modest right now. But as the collection builds, I will be making new videos about it. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions about any of these games, let me know. I will try my best for the 3rd time to include links of gameplay for each of these games. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and I've also got another review coming up of an aftermarket NES controller whenever it decides to get here in the mail. So thanks for watching.